Good afternoon and welcome to the December 11th Board of Selectmen meeting. The first item on our agenda today will be the approval of the November 27th and the December 4th minutes. Discussion from the board. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Come to this podium. No, sir, this one right here. Thank you.
Now, today we have over 130,000 at one time troops overseas in Iraq, etc., and it's kind of hard to support the troops. However, we all have a soldier we know over there, our highway and ground supervisor, Jeff Colby. And I found out that Jeff's staff is going ahead and preparing care packages and which people could donate things, etc. And I just wanted to share that with other people. But there's a young lady who knows more than I do, and her name is Helen Borgias, and her telephone number is 945-5158.
Thank you very much for bringing that to our attention, Mr. Bain. He is indeed a special person and a wonderful employee, and we all hope that he'll be back soon. So,
Just a small, Earl Hubbard, Chatham, just a small issue. Last week, goal number 3 was support workforce housing. What I'd like you to see is put an agenda, on one of your agendas, put an item where the whole town can talk about what you're talking about when you talk about support workforce housing, because there is no specifics, no idea of what you're talking about when you talk about supporting workforce housing. Thank you.
thank you, Mr. Hubbard.
I'm William Massey, the Community Resource Officer for the town, and the last time I was here, I sat up here with some of my brothers, and we were introduced to you, and I just wanted to let you know that the Community Resource Program that we have has been moving along fairly swiftly. But our next meeting is going to be the 17th, and we're going to be addressing teen driving safety.
We have our Director of Coastal Resources, Mr. Keon, here.
Good afternoon. Looks like I'm the only game on the agenda today, so I'll get right into it. We have been talking with both the Fish and Wildlife Service and the National Park Service for a few years about the complications, if you will, as far as land ownership and jurisdiction with South Beach and Monomoy. In order to establish a long-term solution, it will probably require an act of legislation to change what is the defining boundary of the east side of Monomoy to something else.
All those in favor of that motion, please say aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous. Another discussion, the access to South Beach.
There are a number of more complicating factors with this site when you compare it to, say, Nauset Beach and North Beach and so forth to the north. It's very clear, I think, to us that if we were to even get approval, there would be required a considerable amount of monitoring and escort service and so forth, so I think there would probably be a significant budgetary impact to implementation of trying to provide the access that we're all, hoping that we could do.
Doesn't sound like a good idea.
Mr. Summers.
Well, I would remind those that the character of this community had a lot of vehicles going down that beach for a lot of years.
Honestly, Sean, I agree with you.
The reason ought to prevail somewhere along the line, and is there anything we could do to promote this, saying that we have this particular area that is so good with the washovers, and what can't we move them or something? Dr. Duncans, you guys, it's just a frustrated...
Unfortunately, David, reason very rarely interjects itself into regulation.
I'm one of those who used to live in Monomoy in the summertime. You mentioned 50-plus pairs of nesters of these endangered birds. How many pairs must there be before they are no longer considered an endangered species?
But one of the big issues is not the absolute number of pairs, but it's actually the reproductive rate. It's how many new chicks survive from those pairs. The number of pairs is actually pretty good, but the reproductive rate has been below the target set at the federal level.
And I think this could be a source of revenue to Chatham. And not once tonight have I heard what a potential revenue might be if you choose to open the beach for our people and our guests, who might be from Orleans, to use it.
But I do think that we shouldn't give up so easily. I think
The federal government does not want people to drive past the plover nest.
I just don't see spending staff resources right now to further research it unless something drastically changes.
Today, it's probably not fiscally cost-effective for us to pursue it. Piping plovers are restricted to this very thin band of sand all along our shore. That is the only place that they nest. They do not nest on rooftops, they don't nest at the dump, they don't nest in fields. The piping plover, unfortunately, is a beach nesting bird. From an ecotourism perspective, it is probably one of the best beaches in the world. Is the Massachusetts Audubon Society willing to side with the taking of a piping plover? Would our membership allow us to support the running over of a piping plover to allow vehicles to go on a beach?
Well, and I think that's a little harsh the way you put it. I think we could find a little piping plover suitcase and move them. I don't think we have to run them over.
Is that there's actually been none, or documentation of where a plover was accidentally hurt, with the exception of an official vehicle that was in the business of protecting them.
You know, there's nothing wrong with walking on the beach. There really is nothing wrong with walking on the beach. I don't know why everybody has to drive on one.
Move to adjourn.
Second?
Moved and second to adjourn. Any further discussion from the board? All those in favor of adjournment, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye.